Hello everyone, here's Raindale with a War of the Vision video. Today's the 4th episode of our Unloved series, where we feature units that don't see much play or feature time in videos for War of the Vision. Miranda is a little bit different. She does see some play, although she has been out for a while and she doesn't see much play anymore. But I've received requests asking to feature her, so this is what I'm doing. As always, we'll be trying to go over what she can do as quickly as possible and then get her in the arena for some actual gameplay. So let's begin. What Miranda brings to the party is generally a good support with some decent damage and a surprising amount of tankiness. Her TMR, the red jacket, is actually very good. It gives access to a magic attack and slash attack buff of 25, which is close. Like the best vision cards for slash attack, for example, provides 35 slash attack. Same goes for magic attack and etc. So 25 is actually close to a maxed out VC in terms of party ability. It's pretty impressive and it's cast in an AoE. So it is a good TMR to use if you don't mind not using one for agility. Now moving on to Miranda. She has pretty decent stats, but what I want to talk about here is the fact that she has in a defense in her master ability and then in her kit. So right here we have 9 defense already. Now, if we look at the passives, she also gets 12 more defense from the Holy Knight's protection. So, we're now at 21 base defense if you're using this passive. I recommend using this passive basically all the time because the increase in tankiness is really good. And then for the other passive, you can tailor depending on your need. Usually magic resistance can be very good. Initial AP, since she's more of a support, I don't believe she needs to attack that often, so it probably won't be too useful. And then decreased activation time is depending on your formation and how quickly you need your spells to go. In terms of counter ability, I really like Magic Reflex against Magic teams because she is a unit with a high faith, meaning that even if she has some decent magic resistance, which she doesn't really have, she's going to take a lot of magic damage. But this allows for a chance, and a pretty decent chance, to completely dodge any oncoming magic damage. So it's very important. But if you're targeting physical teams, you don't need Magic Reflex, then Paladin Guard is great. Almost a 50% mitigation that pops once in a while is going to be very helpful in any battle. Let's move to what she can actually bring. In her main job, she has a little bit of AoE with Watera, a little bit of healing with Cura, but I would say the 2 main moves are Jamming Thrust, which is very widely known, high damage, long range, high hate difference range if you need this, and then it cancels enemy casting, so if you're lucky or if you're playing in manual, you can use it to interrupt enemies, which can be very convenient. Resistance Break is really there for fun builds, either for raid or other kind of content where you want to reduce the enemy's spirit, or also to chain, because it's a 2-hit piercing attack, so it chains really well with Glaciella, depending what you need. It's a water pierce attack, so it can work in some teams or with Lancers. Then the Time Mage sub is really the ultimate sub for her, and usually for any units that has access to the Time Mage sub job, especially if those units have access to Quicken. Quicken is a monstrously powerful tool. It can define team comps because it allows you to tailor the AI the way you want it to, or in manual play to just execute your game plan much earlier than the opponent would expect. Haste is also very, very powerful, so Time Mage sub is what makes her a great support. Now, you could also want to run the Paladin sub to have her be even tankier. I would say she already has a lot of defense with good gear, so you don't necessarily need this, but if you want to use her as a damage dealer and not as a support, you probably want to put on the Paladin sub job to support her, because she will be using Immortal Spirit, making herself immortal for a while, and she can use Sentinel during her approach, so if your enemy have longer range than you do, that will allow you to advance without taking as much damage as you otherwise would. Limit Break is also great, short range, but against some enemies it's guaranteed to confuse, so in some scenarios it's a really great move. So now that we looked at this, let's bring her into the arena, we'll look at our team comp, and see how much success we have. Alright, so here's the team that we'll be bringing into arena today. First, let's take a look at Miranda. We're running her with 41 defense, 4000 HP, and a little bit above 800 points of magic. The way we do that is we equip the Soul of Thamasa on her, along with Adelard's Blade, because it increases magic attack, whereas other swords increase slash attack, and she does not have any slash attack move with what we're using. The abilities that we have turned off are Watera, because when she attacks I want her to deal damage immediately, not after casting. And then Fast Cast, because it doesn't have much impact in our battle plan. Then for her Time Mage job, we're turning off everything but Quicken, because it's really the way to send Kilfi forward and ensure that she's the one taking the attacks while Miranda remains behind and does damage from there. So this is how she looks. Quickly, if you want to take a look at the stats, this is what it looks like. We've got some very decent resistances, but Missile is going to be an issue if we get hit with it. Now, Kilfei has around 40 points of defense as well, a little bit over 4,400 HP. We are running the Staff Mage job with everything turned on. She actually has a very good AI with this job, so you don't need to mess with it too much. In her Spellblade job, we're removing Resist Magic and Magic Barrier because we'll be targeting mainly physical teams today, so I don't want her to spend too much time buffing against those attacks. Once again, if you want to take a look at the stats, here they are very quickly. And then we have Glaciella, because I want to use her. I don't get to use her too often. We're running her with Shikuchi, because in this map you need jump 2 if you're in slot 3 and you want to attack on tempo with the rest of your team. We've let the entire Valkyrie kit on, but for Ninja we've disabled Hide, Poison Mist, and Shuriken, because if she's attacking I want her to attack with piercing moves, or maybe Suiton, but not slash attacks. That doesn't fit what we are designed to do. And then I'm using Bells, and I have not taken time to increase her faith yet. My bad. So we might have a little bit of issues with this in combat, but let's see how it goes. Once again, let us quickly review the stats here. Glaciella is really squishy aside from her slash resistance in this team, so we really want Kilfei to take the aggro with her Spellblade job. Let's find an opponent and see how it goes. Alright, so our first opponent is a Gunner team. Kilfei is very strong against them, and then Miranda is weak against them, so they don't want to stick too close to each other, otherwise we're going to have trouble. Glaciella is also fragile against Missile and Lightning, so it's really up to Kilfei to keep the aggro and let the other guys do their job if we want to win the fight. Let's run it and see how it goes. If Miranda does her job right, she's going to quicken Kilfei, sending her far forward, but then with her jump 2, she'll be able to follow and start using some jamming thrust attacks when she's in the back. So that's really what we want her to be doing. The enemy Nivlu begins close enough to cast Quicken and move forward, which puts her in danger range immediately. As you can tell, Miranda hits pretty hard. She's not the kind of unit that's going to one-punch anyone unless you're really using only offensive vision cards, but she does enough damage to two-hit an enemy, and she's fast enough to do that as well. So, as you can see, her initial attack was enough to give us an edge in this battle. Then she's going with the Cure, which is fine. It will allow Glaciella to tank another extra hit, so it's not a bad move to have. But if we wanted her to cast Quicken, absolutely, over anything else, we would have to turn off Cura, because her AI will prioritize it over other moves. There we see a 3000 damage attack, which is pretty impressive from Miranda. So yeah, with the right setup, she can hit very hard, actually. Now it's just a question of cleaning up Warrior of Light and finishing up the fight, which our girls will do right now. So, oh right, auto revive. That won't have any impact on the ending of the battle. So there we go. As you can see, Miranda did her job. She did go and heal instead of quickening, which is fine because with the amount of HP Glaciala has left now, she would be dead if we didn't do that. But for the second battle, I will turn off Cura because I really want her to be an enabler, and being a healer I think is not going to make the difference. So let's try this out. We'll see how it goes with the second battle. Alright, this time we're going to be fighting Thancred, Kayn, and Vinera. They're all running offensive vision cards, so their amount of damage is going to be very scary. Two of them are slash type units, which is fine with us, but Kayn we're rather afraid of because our team is built around defense and slash resistance, and there's one of the member of the enemy team that is basically going to hit us very, very hard. So he's the one we need our units to focus. And then, well, Vinera just got lucky with a dodge. They're not running any kind of evasion vision cards, so that was not, not in our favor at all, but she should go down now. Now Kayn will get to kill whoever he wishes and still keep a lot of AP. So I'm scared of him going for Miranda and killing her. But Miranda hits him very hard as well. So we might be able to take him out afterwards. Okay, he was in range to attack, and we get him down. So that's very good. Now Thancred should not be an issue. He's weak to magic, so there we go. Overall, this was much cleaner than I expected. And yeah, Miranda does hit very hard with the proper setup. Okay, we've had two good matches. Let's try to find a really tough one and see how we fare against it. Alright, here we go. So this team that we're going to be fighting is rather scary for me because they have Dwayne, and Dwayne against a bunch of high faith units like we have is very likely to land his disables. However, they're all slash attackers, so it should take them a while to take our guys down. Then Dwayne also has 20% magic resist. He's running his own maxed out vision card, which means that Laswell's and Ruinstern's weakness to magic is also partly mitigated. It is going to be a tough matchup, but let's just see how it goes. Alright, so they begin buffing themselves for a lot of damage. Laswell becomes partly invulnerable and moves forward, and we begin casting Quicken on Kilfey. So she has her barrier, and she is in the front. That's exactly what we want, in the front, with hate, ready to tank a couple hits, while Glaciala moves to flank. Unfortunately, she moves forward too quickly and takes a hit immediately. But she survives, and Laswell is in range for the hate to stop him. Miranda is a little bit too backwards, so she just gets to cast another Quicken, but honestly, I'm not sad to see a Quicken be used. It's a very powerful ability, and it allows Laswell to be killed quickly. Still now, it's 2v versus 2, which could be difficult if our guys group too much, because Ruinstern still has a lot of AoE that he can throw our way. And here we really see how tanky Dwayne can get, especially when we don't have the White Mage sub and access to Holy. But he is very AP heavy. He has a very heavy AP consumption, apologies. So yeah, now this is bad. Miranda is pretty tanky with the defense and slash resistance we have, but it's not enough for to survive an attack from a stacked up Ruinstern, so we end up losing this fight. The main issue here is that Glaciala went down before we could execute our game plan of having her flank, so that was a pretty good match. I've still got an orb. I'll run another one, see which one I choose between those two. Alright, so for the last match, we went ahead and changed our setup a little bit. Kilfey is now has Shield of Staves disabled and instead has Magic Barrier and Resist Magic. And then I swapped out Paladin Guard from Miranda in favor of Magic Reflex. So we should be able to tackle the Magic team with this setup. However, Rain does scare me because his innate really high amount of Spirit means that unless Glaciela gets to hit him, it will be really long before we get him down. So let's see how the fight goes. They get a wide AoE buff, which might make it dangerous for us. Glaciela, however, begins moving forward. We've got the magic shield on Kilfei. Oh, and they also run resist magic. Now, I did not check Ildira's sub-job, and this might make the battle more complicated for us. But we'll see how it goes. So Kilfei has a very aggressive AI, goes to taunt immediately. It's a slash attack, so not mitigated by magic resist, but it's still pretty scary. Okay, so here comes a second cast of Quicken, and from now on, Miranda will be in range to attack. So, second Quicken goes in, we get in range for another taunting spell. So with resist magic, taunting spell becomes a better offensive option than Energy Buster would be. So that's why she chose this. And then Leap Strike to finish Cellier off and deal some damage to Rain. And since we've managed to get Rain under 50% HP, we get to the nice spot where the enemy Ildira will just keep healing as long as he's in range. So we should be able to win this. I don't foresee Ildira killing everyone on our team that easily now. So she is halfway done because of a good counter, but Miranda should be able to finish this off in more than one hit, it would seem. Yeah, so once again, the magic resistance that she gave herself coming in handy, but not enough to turn the tide of the battle completely. We ended up winning. So yeah, three good, very different matches, but I hope you could see how powerful Miranda can be. Jamming Thrust is really one of the best abilities in the game, and the Red Mage sub-job in general is very versatile, so I think she's very much worth using, especially if you have a Soul of Tamasa that you can put on her. It really amplifies her damage dealing capabilities, while leaving her with a very good amount of defense. Alright, so I hope you guys had fun watching this, possibly learned a thing or two. If you have any questions, as always, don't hesitate to ask and just interact with me in the comments. It's a pleasure to read those and reply to them. And if you want to watch more videos, just give it a like and subscribe. What I'm working on for next week is a video with Freyevia, countering magic teams with the Spellblade sub-job. I'm hoping Sakura comes on quickly so I can show how to possibly fight her. And if you're interested, you can always watch the older videos. I've featured Old Doag, Ziza, and Yerma so far. So thanks for your time and have a great rest of your day.